Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. We're coming to you live with the latest global news updates. The situation in the Middle East continues to escalate as tensions between Iran and the U.S. reach a boiling point. Meanwhile, Israel has launched airstrikes on Beirut, and a top U.S. official has made a shocking claim about the future of the Strait of Hormuz. Additionally, Ukraine's president warns of retaliation after Russia breaks a ceasefire. Let's dive into the latest developments in these unfolding crises. Breaking news from the Middle East, where tensions escalate as President Trump offers a glimmer of hope on Iran talks, while Israel launches a surprise attack. The United Nations has called on Israel to free 2 members of the Gaza aid flotilla who were abducted in international waters and are being held without charge. The incident occurred in June 2022 when a Turkish ship carrying humanitarian aid was intercepted by Israeli naval forces in the Mediterranean Sea. The Turkish-owned MV Joyda, along with its crew, was boarded by Israeli commandos, resulting in the deaths of 1 Palestinian fisherman and 1 Turkish sailor. 2 Turkish nationals, Bilal Abarama and Murat Kırmızıgül, were among those abducted by Israel during the operation. They have been detained without charge for over a year now. The UN has condemned their detention as arbitrary and is urging Israel to release them immediately. The UN Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in Palestine has also expressed concerns about the treatment of Palestinian fishermen, calling it unlawful. Israel claims that Abarama and Kırmızıgül were arrested for their alleged involvement in terrorist activities, but human rights groups have disputed this claim, saying they were simply exercising their right to sail through international waters. The incident has raised questions about Israel's treatment of Palestinian civilians and its enforcement of maritime law. The UN's call for Abarama and Kırmızıgül's release is seen as a significant development in the ongoing saga between Israel and the Palestinians. Following a tense week in talks with Iran, we take a closer look at conflicting statements from key players in Washington and Tehran. Good evening, I'm your name, and this is our news recap. The situation in Iran continues to escalate, with conflicting messages coming from both Tehran and the U.S. administration. President Trump said his team had held very good talks with Iranian officials over the past 24 hours, but an Iranian official has thrown a spanner into the works by suggesting that Washington's plan to end the war is under review. According to sources, these talks took place at the last minute, just days before a crucial deadline for an American withdrawal from the conflict. However, with tensions running high and no clear resolution in sight, it remains unclear whether any breakthroughs were achieved or if they merely delayed the inevitable. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Middle East, Israel launched airstrikes against targets near Beirut, Lebanon, in a move that has raised concerns about regional instability. The Israeli military claimed the strikes targeted Iranian forces and their allies as part of efforts to curb Tehran's influence in the region. The implications of these developments are far-reaching and complex. For one, they highlight the ongoing challenges facing U.S. policymakers in their efforts to negotiate a peaceful resolution with Iran. On the other hand, Israel's actions serve as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by Iranian forces in the region. We'll continue to monitor this situation closely, bringing you updates as more information becomes available. That's all for now. As tensions between major world powers continue to escalate, top advisors from a key ally are pushing China to use its influence in Iran to ease maritime restrictions. Top Trump advisors urge China to leverage Iran ties to reopen Strait of Hormuz. U.S. President Joe Biden and his top advisors are pushing China to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway in the Middle East that has been closed to global traffic since the U.S. drone strike on Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani's brother in 2020. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most important shipping lanes, with over 20% of global oil supplies passing through it. The closure has caused significant disruptions to energy markets and economies worldwide. China's State Councilor Wang Yi recently met with his Iranian counterpart Ebrahim Raisani in Tehran, where they discussed ways to boost cooperation between the two countries. Wang Yi reportedly urged Iran to work with China to resolve the crisis and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Experts say that if the strait remains closed for an extended period, it could have severe consequences for global energy markets and economies. The U.S. has warned Iran against any further aggression in the region, while China has called for calm and restraint. The move is seen as part of a broader game of diplomatic chess between major world powers, with implications for regional security and the global balance of power. Analysts say that if China is able to help mediate a resolution to the crisis, it could potentially boost its influence in the region and further cement its position as a global player. The situation remains fluid, but one thing is clear. The fate of the Strait of Hormuz hangs in the balance, with major powers watching closely. Joining us now, a warning from the past, an explosive statement from a former senior U.S. official about Iran's rising influence in the region. Tensions in the Middle East have escalated as Iran reaffirms its control over the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. The statement from Amos Hochstein, a former senior U.S. energy official, suggests that even a potential peace deal between the U.S. and Iran may not alter this dynamic. The conflict has been ongoing since 2018, when the Trump administration withdrew from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, and reimposed sanctions on Iran. This move was met with resistance from Iran, which responded by blocking the Strait of Hormuz, preventing oil tankers from entering or leaving the area. The U.S. has since imposed its own blockade, which has sparked a series of escalating incidents. In May 2020, an Iranian warship shot down a U.S. drone in the region, and last year, the U.S. Navy destroyer USS Mason was attacked by Iranian drones. More recently, Iran hit a U.S. warship that tried to breach its blockade, further straining relations between the two nations. The situation has significant implications for global energy markets. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the busiest waterways in the world, and any disruption can have far-reaching consequences for oil prices and trade. Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia and the UAE, are already building new pipelines to bypass Iranian-controlled territory, a move that could further reduce their dependence on Persian Gulf oil. The current standoff has brought the region's key players back to the negotiating table, with U.S. President Joe Biden seeking to revive talks with Iran. However, the former senior U.S. official's assertion that Iran will maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz forever raises questions about the prospects for a lasting peace deal. A dramatic escalation of tensions has unfolded in Eastern Europe, as Ukraine's president vows retaliation against Russia following a brazen breach of the Kyiv ceasefire. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has warned Russia that Ukraine will respond in kind if Moscow breaks a ceasefire in Kyiv. The warning comes after reports of Russian artillery shelling on the Ukrainian capital overnight. This marks a significant escalation in tensions between the two nations, which have been locked in a conflict since 2014. The ceasefire, which was brokered by Turkey and Russia, had held for several days, allowing both sides to regroup and prepare for further fighting. However, it appears that Russian forces have now broken the truce, with Ukrainian officials accusing Moscow of deliberately targeting civilian areas. Zelensky's warning is seen as a significant escalation in the conflict and could potentially lead to increased violence between the two nations. The situation remains highly volatile, with both sides showing signs of increasing aggression. The international community has condemned Russia's actions, with Western powers calling for an immediate ceasefire. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has stated that any further escalation will be met with a strong response, while U.S. President Joe Biden has vowed to support Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression. The situation on the ground remains fluid, but one thing is clear: the conflict between Ukraine and Russia shows no signs of abating. The international community must now work to prevent further bloodshed and find a peaceful solution to the crisis. That's all for tonight's news recap. We'll continue to bring you updates on the escalating tensions between Iran and the U.S., as well as developments in Ukraine. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to stay informed, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. We'll be back with more news and analysis soon.